Now, this could only happen to a host like me, and only happen on a show like this. So, may I say to each of you, hopefully on key, as I launch this telethon like this. This is Beantown. This show is called Beantown. This show is called not for kids of all ages. And I don't make real wages. In fact, I've lost a lot of money on the whole lot. Like way too much money on my one shot. But this show is the only thing keeping me sane. It's Beantown. Beantown, the show is called Beantown. The show is like watching paint dry. And we may lie, but that won't stop me. And each... Oh, someone's calling. Oh, we're going to send them to voicemail. What? Where am I? I'm lost. Beantown is... here we go. The silly ad readings. Oh, Beantown is the Samsung series. Oh, Beantown is one show that might let you down. It's Beantown. Wow! Hey, what's going on? It's Quinn David Furness. Welcome to my show. Quinn David Furness presents the Beantown Podcast 5th Annual Telethon Pledge Drive Fundraiser. What's happening? How are you? My name is Quinn. This is my show, and I am so happy to be coming to you live for our 5th Annual Beantown Podcast Pledge Drive Telethon Fundraiser. Wow, year 5, $5 footlong for those looking at home. It's a wild time to be alive in the world on Beantown. There's something for everyone on this show. There's laughter, there's charm, there's Ukraine commentary, there's Wordle. Okay, you guys love Wordle, right? We're going to be talking Wordle today. And if you're new to the Beantown Podcast, hello to my friends from Pakistan. If this is your first time experiencing the Telethon fundraiser, here's what we do. Every year, we've got a certain amount of operating costs for the Beantown Podcast, and we raise money live on air. I realize on the YouTube stream, you can't even see our great sign, our live on air Beantown Podcast. By the way, hello to YouTube, hello to Facebook. Oh, now it's too much. We gotta readjust. And so we do unlimited hosting on SoundCloud, right? You don't get to 220 some episodes where we're at right now without unlimited hosting, because that's something like, gosh, I don't even know how many hours. That's a couple of days worth of Beantown at this point. If each episode is 40 minutes on average, 220 times 4 would be 880. Plus another 0, 8,800 minutes. How many days is that? Oh, we're getting a phone call. Oh, here we go. Okay, our first treat of the day. And I know we had another phone call, and I apologize please call back because we are in the middle of our song. Here we go. They're going on voicemail. Hello, welcome to the Beantown Podcast 5th Annual Pledge Drive Telethon Fundraiser. This is Quinn. How can I help you?
Quinn, David Vernon.
Hey, what's going on?
I'm doing great. I just wanted to call in to tune in to this year's 5th Annual Beantown Podcast Telethon Drive. I just wanted to call in, show my support. I enjoy the podcast. Huge fan. I've been here since day one. I'm calling from Philly. I'm just excited to be on the line with you, and just great experience this last year, and definitely looking forward to the years to come with this podcast.
Well, I appreciate that, and I definitely know who this is. I won't reveal it live on there unless you want to be revealed, but I really appreciate you calling into the show and supporting. How are things in Philly right now?
Things are great in the city of Philly. We're just, it's not the Beantown, that's for sure, but, we make do what we have over here.
Yeah, I get that. I mean, Philly, you got the cream cheese, you got a Rocky statue, you got Yards Brewing Company, so there's at least 3 things going for you. And cheesesteak, that's true. I that can be a little hit or miss. Sometimes, it can be a little soggy at the bottom. And don't get it at the airport either. That's a mistake I learned the hard way.
Oh my God, I've never had it at the airport, but I'm just very happy to be here, to be, on the line with you. I'm so proud of work you're doing with this podcast, and I just wanted to give a call. Just hoping that more people can tune in and enjoy the great work that you do.
Well, I appreciate that. And I tell you what, I don't know if you've heard recently, but we've recently expanded our international reach into the country of Pakistan. So maybe when all this COVID stuff dies down and we need to send someone on assignment, I might give you a call to go do some research there.
I will be more than willing to do that.
Excellent. Wait, any final thoughts?
Nothing else, my friend. Nothing else. As I said, I wish the best of success during this telethon, and I hope we can bring that goal of $200. And anybody else who's listening or watching this great live stream, I encourage you, please donate. Even if it's $1 over $5, donate whatever comes to your heart. It's great, man. With David Vernon, we can continue to provide the podcast that we all deserve and that we all need during these tough times.
Well, I appreciate those very kind words. That's very generous of you to say that and share that. And I know you're a longtime listener and a loyal supporter of the show, and I really appreciate it. And hey, I guess we'll see you at the next one, okay?
Sounds good, bud. Have a good one.
All right. Thanks so much. You too.
Okay.
Yeah, bye. All right. Our first live call, and I realized as we were going through it that it's going to be great on the recording, but what's going to happen is when you're watching the live stream, you can't hear that. I mean, I got the furnace going and not the one who's chatting with you, the real furnace. And it was just really far away from the computer microphones. That's one thing. So I got these microphones, the Samsung Q2U series. Fans of the show are well aware at this point. But I realized that, when we're talking about like the live streams from YouTube and Facebook, you're just getting it with the computer mic, which I've got my 2 computers going here, and a third one handling the recording. So there's a lot of action. And so what I've done during that phone call, and thank you again to our caller for tuning in. He's a longtime listener of the show, absolutely a big supporter. We have moved the phone a little bit closer. I think if you are on Facebook, it's still going to be tough to listen, but granted, we've talked about this on the show before. I think that we get posts that would have gotten thousands of likes and upvotes and angry reacts get like two comments these days. Facebook is more or less dead. So we got YouTube coming to you live here. I think your YouTube, if you're watching on YouTube, I would encourage you to do that. If you're on Facebook, join us over on YouTube. I think you'll be able to hear those live calls a little bit better. I put them on speakerphone. I put them as loud as I can, that sort of thing. I know you couldn't hear that previous one. Basically, what our loyal longtime caller was getting at was how big of a fan he is of the show. I'm paraphrasing here, but and he encourages everyone to donate $1, $5, $5,000, whatever is in your hearts this giving season. We've got tote bags, we've got strip teases, we've even got our good old friend the Fisher Price telephone. So we've got all sorts of things. We don't actually have tote bags, but that would be cool in the future. Here's the thing. I figure I got at least 20 more years left of just like general living. And so if you reckon I'm going to be doing the Beantown podcast the whole time, that's at least 20 more telethons. Okay. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of charity. So we're going to continue to build. And just kind of going back, and I see we got a comment on YouTube. Great close-up with the Samsung Q2U. Absolutely, boy. It's kind of right in front of the YouTube stream. In a perfect world, we would have really thought a lot of this out before we got started, but that's just sort of how it goes. That's what happens when you start at 5 o'clock on a Friday. Work ends and boom, you start. We're just going to leave it like that, and that's going to be okay. Because I think YouTube, you've seen my streams before. What I was getting at, if this is your first time listening to Beantown podcast, or even for you longtime listeners, it's good to note because we do change it up every year. So we raise money for the operating costs. That was the original point of the telethon when we started this 5 years ago, which is essentially it's like $200 ish total. I didn't even do the math this year, but it's essentially like $120 for SoundCloud Unlimited hosting throughout the year. It's an annual subscription plan that we're part of. And then it's also like $100 or so from WordPress. Give me a second. I'm sipping. I know if you're watching the live stream, I know what you're saying, Quinn. You're crazy. Don't worry. I've got a coaster. I'm drinking wine out of a vase. If you're listening to this on SoundCloud or YouTube audio or Stitcher or Spotify, or should I pull my stuff from Spotify? That could be a great segment on the Beantown podcast. What I was going to say is, okay, so around year 2 or year 3, we decided to add a charitable wing to the show, which Beantown Gives Back. It's a nonprofit. It's a 503c, 401b. There's a 1099 MISC, MISC, all that stuff. But essentially what we do now is, and we got some more comments on YouTube, but I absolutely cannot see them without really getting up close. It's my bad eyesight, and also it's really small. Drinking out of a vase. Yes, I am. Boycott Spotify. I don't disagree with that. I should figure out if you're not like a behind the scenes podcaster, like tech savvy guy, kind of like myself, which is a joke, but also like kind of true because I've been doing this for 5 years. Essentially, the way podcasts work is you generate an RSS feed, which is something you get out of your host, I think, which is SoundCloud. And you plug in that RSS feed to a million different places, and it just it goes. It just takes off, baby. And so like I've never been on Spotify and been like, oh, let me upload the Beantown podcast. It just exists. So yeah, I should figure out. I should look into that. By year 8 or year 9, I'd love to get that figured out. But to finish my thought before we really jump into the telethon here, and certainly before other callers make an appearance, I decided to add a charitable wing, Beantown Gives Back, to this whole program. And so I don't remember exactly what it was like the first year, but the last year or so, last 2 years, we've just turned this into a total match thing, 100%, where you donate whatever you can to the Beantown podcast. It covers our operating costs, and in a show of gratitude, on top of our donor tiers, which you can read all about on our GoFundMe page this year. I just donate everything I receive, and I'm not including those listener discretion is advised when listening to Beantown podcast some on occasion. So only show me these podcasts are objectively terrible. Those bullshit fees that GoFundMe does. I'm just taking your face value that you send, $50, $5,000. You can also, stocks, bonds, goats, bear market, bull market, shrimp, whatever animal or livestock you want to donate to the podcast. Cars for kids, that was basically my idea. Cars for Beantown. doesn't quite have a nice number arrangement of 10 letters or numbers to it, but maybe we could do a cars for BNTWN, something like that. Cars for Beantown. So I decided to just donate match everything 100%. And that's what we're doing again this year. I'm really proud. What that means, if you're doing the math at home, okay, if you're really savvy, that means I'm not actually making any money off of the Telethon Pledge Drive fundraiser. And that's totally okay, because I'm fortunate enough to be in a good spot financially where I don't, it's not like Alms for the Poor where I absolutely need, these donations to keep the show running. It's nice to sort of call it that. And it's great because that means Beantown is think of the Green Bay Packers, take it up a notch. That's Beantown. You've got the listeners are really the ones who run the show here. And I'm very proud to be able to say that. You all have, I think we talked about this a couple weeks ago. Everyone essentially has got like a stock in Beantown when you donate. Certificate of authenticity. I don't think I talked about that on the GoFundMe, but I would definitely like to do that. So maybe I'll print something out, send everyone who donated an email. That's actually a good idea. I'm not going to remember this, tomorrow because of the wine. And also I got a little bit of vodka in a coffee cup for backup, just in case, because it was the last of the vodka. But that's a really good idea, sending those ownership certificates to you all. So that's sort of how this came to be. It's our 5th annual Telethon Pledge Drive fundraiser, and I'm really happy to be raising money this year for the United Way of Metro Chicago. They do a ton of great work for people of all ages, kids, most notably at like after school programs, but also anyone facing like a housing crisis or food insecurity. There's definitely a lot of food deserts here in the greater Chicagoland area. So it really does a lot of great work. And I'm really happy that we're going to be able to cut a check for them once Pledge Drive month ends, which will be, more or less the end of this weekend. So really excited for this show. It's a hallmark. It's a cornerstone of the Beantown podcast. And this is our first 2-mic setup that we've done in a really long time. I'm thinking like pre-COVID because getting another sip, it's hard to take quick sips with this face. You got to be really careful. I also don't want to spill wine all over myself. I don't want to wine dine in 69 myself. But what was I talking about? I don't know. United Way, Chicago, Telethon, fundraiser. That's embarrassing. Certificate of authenticity, ownership, all that stuff. We got a chat in the Facebook. We'll go there next, I suppose. And if anyone was listening literally 30 seconds ago when I completely lost my train of thought, write it in the chat. YouTube, Facebook, text me. I will also mention, in case you're watching, and stocks, ownership, yeah, there's something else. I'm pretty sure. But I do appreciate you chiming in, and I will. That's my brother who's in YouTube, by the way. I will. I'll think of it or come back around to it. But we've got I put my phone number in the YouTube chat. I'm putting it in the Facebook chat. Just in case you're watching and you don't have my number, or you're an anonymous listener or Pakistan. I will mention for Pakistan, the U.S. country code is 1. Okay, because we're number 1. So make sure you hit that 1 before you go to 815-298-7200. I got a community standards warning when I typed in my phone number in Facebook. I don't know what that's all about. We have Joaquin on the chat in Facebook. He wants to know, can you please share the story about the desk admins that quit on the spot? I don't even, is that from like what I was Snapchatting you about the other day, or was this from like 10 years ago when you were in college, or what was the situation? I don't even know. I guess not 10 years ago, like 7 or 8 years ago. I have had some employees quit on me recently, which is a lot. just randomly. And there's not really a good story about it. It's just kind of like, I think, feeling overwhelmed. And there's no like funny joking story really about like quitting. They didn't have a good quitting story, if you will, like a Costanza style quitting story. But I know there were tons of people who, when Joaquin and we go way back, we worked together in college. A lot of desk receptionists, 19-year-olds who would, just not show up for shifts. A good friend of the podcast, Jacqueline, would definitely be able to shed some more light on that, but because she oversees them now. Snapchat from yesterday. Yeah, that was basically just like I've got some clerks, and they've I've had a bad string. I've had two, resign in the last month, and not give 2 weeks notice or anything. So it's just a bummer. It's just a bad situation. It's not really like a comedic anything. There's no really like gold stuff there, and I want to protect my students and stuff. So it's definitely been frustrating though. And definitely, if you want to learn more about it offline, off the air, when we're not broadcasting internationally, shoot me a text or a Snapchat or something. I'd love to chat more about it and express more of myself. But thanks everyone for being here. I wanted to get into today's program 22 minutes in by following up on a conversation that I had with my lovely lady, Rachel Ramos, this morning over text. Because so it's a tradition that she just texted me something about a flower vase. I don't know what that's about. We talk about Wordle every day. Sometimes we get to play it together, sometimes we don't. But this morning was a particularly tough Wordle. If you haven't played Wordle yet, it was a bitch. And I thought, hey, maybe it was kind of extreme today. It felt a little extreme. So I'm thinking maybe we franchise this whole Wordle experience. Okay, you got your basic Wordle. Okay, it's six letters. It's pretty simple. So what are some extreme variations of Wordle that we could drum up here? I think the obvious one, the first thing I thought of was like 10-letter minimum Wordle. It could be 10 letters. It could be 11. It could be 27. Whatever you want to do. But I think that would be a good one. And here's our call to action for the week. I know I'm asking a lot already with the donations, but what are some extreme Wordles that you want to know more about? Email us, beantownpodcast@yahoo.com. Again, it's beantownpodcast@yahoo.com. You can also leave complaints on our website, beantownpodcast.com, which I updated last week. You're welcome. And that was definitely the thing I forgot I was going to say, not the website specifically, but there's some update that I made, and I can't remember what it was. Oh well, I still can't remember what it was. So that's kind of like the basic like Wordle extreme. I think we could get started with. Now, anytime something is extreme, I want to have Ty Pennington attached to it, just by default. And so I think that this could be a television show, or at the very least, a limited web series. There are some great limited web series out there, especially comedy ones. And I think I want to get into the game on that. And I don't know what Ty is up to these days. If you don't know Ty Pennington, you are missing out on a rich slice of mid-2000s American culture. Excuse me, belching live on the stream. Another idea I had, Wordle in different languages, but for people who don't speak that language. Okay, but it's still the same thing where it doesn't accept your word unless it's actually a word in that language. So imagine playing Wordle in Czechoslovakian or Czech or Slovakian or Finnish, and the whole time you're getting a pop-up that's like, that's not a word, you better finish this Finnish Wordle. Look at this little head bob action I got on YouTube. If you're just listening after the fact, go find us on YouTube. You're missing out on a great show. My Mac just went from 71% to 68% in one click, which is just going to be a great that's just a great harbinger, HARBINGER of things to come. Harbinger. Where the heck does that word come from? Put that in extreme Wordle. I guarantee no one's getting it before guess 4. Okay, so yeah, and Wordle in different languages, but only for people who don't speak that language. Okay, Latin Wordle, E pluribus unum, Agnus Dei. I always thought Agnus Dei was kind of interesting. Like, who's Agnes, anyways? I would kick ass at that one though, because sang a lot of I sang the Mozart Requiem in college. That's all in Latin. I sang the Foray Requiem. That's in French, so I'd probably be good at the international version too. But yeah, Ty Pennington would love to get you attached. Let's see. We got some other comments in the YouTube stream. It was tough. How long do you think Wordle will stay hot? When is it going to stop being the topic du jour? I don't know what that means. I think I had a mustard like that one time. Topic du jour. That's got to be French. It could be a good Wordle. One letter Wordle. Don't have to be real words. I do like that. That's brutal. It's playing Deal or No Deal on the computer, which I have done from time to time. And you just start clicking, and it's fun. And here's the thing with that, and I like to make fun of it because it's really silly playing Deal or No Deal by yourself on a computer with no real money or no real stakes. But wouldn't it be fun if you had like a party, like a get together of people? Not something I'm familiar with, but I know what I was gonna say. 2 mics. I'm gonna come back to that because it's you're gonna want to hear about it. You have let's say it's like a tournament, round robin style, double elimination, whatever you want to do, and it's like no one and Deal or No Deal, the show actually has experimented with this because Rachel and I saw an episode when we were in Saugatuck back in December, where it's like head to head Deal or No Deal, where you only win a prize if you finish with the highest deal. And I think that would be fun if you get like 5 people, they each take a turn. You don't know what their score was, and you have to try to get the highest score. That to me is fascinating. I think that's actually very watchable. So I don't know if we have to get rights from Howie Mandel or NBC Universal or Comcast, God forbid, or how any of this works. But I would love a party where we just play Deal or No Deal and winner takes all, if you will. But I was going to say before, literally 15 minutes ago, which I forgot and have now recalled. Speaking of which, Total Recall, Arnold Schwarzenegger movie. That was a movie I hadn't seen until a year ago. Didn't really know anything about it. I think it's a Philip K. Dick novel. Or short story. Great movie. I mean, it's not just that prototypical, stereotypical, not prototypical, stereotypical Arnold 80s movie, and it's just corny and not really that watchable. It's a great movie. Great psychological thriller. Kind of felt a little bit to me now I can't even remember what it's called. Michael Douglas, Sharon Stone. What's that movie called? Help me out, chat. Michael Douglas, Sharon Stone, which I love that movie as well. It's Bad Reputations or something like that. Cool Intentions. I never saw that movie. I heard his guy looks like Justin Timberlake in it though. Michael Douglas, Sharon, Cruel Intentions. No, that's what we just said. Sharon Glass. I don't even know who Sharon Glass is. Sharon Stone. Okay, what is this movie called? Basic Instinct. Got it before chat did. I was going to say, this is the first time we've done a 2 mic setup in a long time, literally 2+ years. So essentially, when I record on GarageBand, I just plug in one microphone, a USB microphone, as you might expect. It's pretty easy. It's pretty straightforward. And I just go from there. When you do a 2 mic setup, when I first started recording, I thought it'd be something that's very easy, but it's not. There's a whole thing you got to go through. There's a lot of steps in GarageBand. And so I hadn't done it in honestly 2+ years. And I wanted to set it up for today because we've had it in past, last year when I did it, for example, where someone calls, we got to hold the phone right up here. It's not the worst thing, but then how do I hold the rotary phone? I love the sound effects. And so I wanted to set it up this year because I haven't done it in a while. We got this brand new Samsung Q2U series that's so crisp, clean, and clear. And I spent 15 to 20 minutes just on the couch today working my MacBook, which I'm not used to any of the controls. I literally only break out the MacBook once a week when it's recording time. That's the only thing I use it for, and it's been that way for 3 or 4 years or so. And so there's like a couple of specific processes. And here's the thing: you go online, it's like type. How do I fix this? And because I haven't updated my Mac or any of the software since like 2015, it's you wouldn't believe this, but it's out of date apparently. And so they're showing me all these images, all these walkthrough videos, and it's like, do this, do this, do this. And I'm looking at my GarageBand, and I'm like, I don't think we're talking the same language, which goes back to Wordle. See how this show all comes full circle. Other Wordle ideas: characters and punctuation marks are encouraged. So you could have ampersands, you could have a left bracket, a hyphen, a pound sign, webdings perhaps. We could go crazy with this. So I want to hear from you, all the fans, moving forward. What are some other extreme Wordle ideas we could include in the franchise? Let us know. Beantown Podcast, yahoo.com. Again, it's Beantown. Beanton, more or less. Beanton, like Downton Abbey. Beanton Podcast. That's Australian. That's rough. Podcast at yahoo.com. Great. Big announcement for Beantown Podcast. And this is, we don't touch on like super serious topics terribly often on the Beantown Podcast. Not that it's always just like slapstick silly, but and I'm not going to spend too much time on this because I don't want to get into the details because I'm not super informed. But and I don't know the international laws or processes of this, but I'm declaring war on Russia. You heard me. Stitcher and Player FM. Quinn David Furnace, and I know that this is going to alienate some of my Pakistan base because I'm sure you got friends in, Kamchatka, but I am declaring war on Russia. And I recognize fully that means, hey, Quinn, what about your, goal that you just made up now to visit every country in the world before you die? That means, hey, you're not going to be able to visit Russia. I don't think that they're going to let, unless it was like the last country I visited and I become a POW there and die there. Which, okay, if we're talking like exhausting all possibilities, that's on the table. But yeah, I don't think they're going to be too happy. And here's the thing: Russia's got to have at least like 200 million people or something in it, 150. And so that's a lot of listeners who probably aren't going to be enjoying these broadcasts in the future. But here's the thing. I just, it's not out of the blue. It's you guys are not being cool. I heard you took over this cool island called Snake Island that Ukraine has, and you killed all the soldiers there. Like, that's not cool. I mean, you guys can do your geopolitical stuff if you want, but like, don't shoot somebody. I don't know. That's just like, and then apparently they took over Chernobyl. Here's a fun aside for you. One time when I was taking high school geography in 7th grade, like a badass, mic drop. Almost dropped the mic on my crotch. I did a presentation on Chernobyl for extra credit, which was definitely needed because my grade was only at like a 97 at that point. And here's the thing. I've done a lot of really half-assed, terrible bullshit presentations in my life and gotten by and gotten away with it. This was like the tops. I don't remember exactly what happened, but it was like rushed. I think they gave us the last 2 minutes of class to do it. There was no PowerPoint. There was no presentation. I think honestly, if you're trying to imagine what it was like, I probably like pull up the first 2 sentences of the Wikipedia page on the Chernobyl nuclear reactor disaster. That was essentially me saying in front of class, reciting those 2 sentences. And it wouldn't surprise me if if that was the research I did, got it, plus 5 points or something like that. Easy money. But yeah, apparently Russia took over Chernobyl, Sharon Stone, and they're not letting the workers do their safety protocols, which is you guys are bad at this. I watched that Chernobyl HBO miniseries, but only the first 2 episodes. So I don't know how it ended. So no spoilers in the chat. I will ban you, Facebook. I will ban you, YouTube. I'm serious. I think it'd be a good time to hear from our sponsors. And again, if you want to give us a call at any point, 815-298-7200, we would love to hear from you. We would love to have you featured live on air. And then, but yeah, finishing up my point, Russia, I hate to do this, and I'm open to negotiations in the future, but I'm afraid that I'm going to have to declare war. So I don't know if there's like a, some sort of like UN form that I should be filling out, or a UNESCO form, or sort of, I just got an email let's see. I was about to say I just got an email that work is removing its mask mandate, but I don't think that's actually true. Let's read it real quick. Not live on the air, just internally in my head. So if you're watching a live stream, try to read the reflection of my eyeballs to see the text that I am now reading. The only reason I'm reading this is because it's from the president's office. Continue to require masks in classrooms at least until the end of winter quarter. Outside of these spaces, masks will be recommended but not required. So I actually don't have to wear it because I don't work in a classroom. This will be interesting. It's going to be interesting because it just feels very weird to not wear it. So we're going to see what happens. Illinois and Chicago's mask mandates end on Monday. Monday is the last day, I think. So we're going to see what happens. But yeah, sorry, Russia, and any listeners who are Russian. We actually did a show back in year 1, I think. It might have been like the third. Oh, we got a call coming in. Don't let me forget this thought. I think it was like the third show where we did a bunch of Russian puns because I went to a Russian restaurant. Okay, let's see if this. I don't regret that. I don't take it back. Okay, let's see how this setup works. Welcome to the Beantown Podcast Year 5 Annual Telethon Pledge Drive Fundraiser. This is Quinn speaking. How can I help you?
Hey, Quinn, it's Walt. What's going on?
Hey, Walt, what's happening? Thanks for all your live enriching comments on the YouTube stream.
Well, I'm glad you chose an adjective like enriching because I think it fits.
Yeah, we're learning a whole lot of stuff. We were just talking about Chernobyl.
Yeah, I've been listening. I'm wondering if you're willing to go all the way right now and make an on-air commitment that the Beantown Podcast is going to officially boycott all Russian products, etc., from your show.
I'd have to consider all the pastries I eat in a week and see sort of where the wheat is refined and, sort of all that stuff. I would say 99% of the products I use and consume are made in China, so I'm not too worried. But I was just thinking as you were saying that I'm probably going to, I've heard this term used before by smart people, divest all my Russian assets and stocks and bonds. And so I might crash the whole, vodka economy. I don't know what's going to happen.
You're going to have to start going for Canadian vodka or something like that.
That seems risky.
Yeah. Poland's got to do a decent job.
That's true. And I have relatives from my partner's side
right.
who are very Polish.
Now that your longtime girlfriend's family is half Polish, it seems like only the responsible thing to do.
Yeah. I tell you what, I just took go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. No, you go ahead.
No, I just took a sip. I got some, if you're watching on the live stream, those of you listening at home, I got my University of Alabama Roll Tide coffee mug, and I got some vodka and an ice cube in here, but I think it was, what's the vodka in the plastic bottle with the red label? Is that Smirnoff? I don't know. It's in the garbage now.
Maybe, or like, there's like probably that.
Yeah. So, this is just the ending dregs of it. But if that's vodka, or if that's Russian, then you're gonna have to lock me up. But otherwise, I think I'm clear.
Who knows? Well, I don't know if you've been tracking your GoFundMe page, but you're getting pretty close. And I thought about putting you over the top there, but I left you just short, just to keep the people interested. You don't want to hit your limit too soon here, or your goal, I should say, not your limit.
I appreciate that, and thanks for donating. And I know United Way will definitely appreciate your donation. And it's going to be like Stanley Spadowski coming back with his mop in a little bit here.
Oh, I can't wait. We'll be watching. But as I mentioned to you earlier, and just a side conversation, I'm disappointed that there's no Topaz Elite this year.
I think with COVID, I've been renting fewer cars. And I just had less exposure to those types of corporate jargons and all that stuff. So I've spent a lot less time at the enterprise counter in the last 2 years than I usually have.
Fair enough.
Hey, are you?
How long are you going to be on air tonight?
Well, I was going to ask what you're doing right now. It sounds like you're wrapping aluminum foil around something in a hurricane or something.
I was just taking a few things out of a plastic bag. That's it. Nothing too exciting.
All right. I don't know how long we're going to be on because I'm starting to get hungry and I got to work in the morning. So this can't go past 11 p.m. But also my MacBook's down to 50%. So we're kind of on their time right now.
And you don't believe in chargers?
Oh, it's on the other side of the room. There's no way I'm getting that. It's lived there ever since I moved here.
Well, I think it was last year I tried to call in, and I waited too long, so I'm glad I caught you this time. And last year's I think it was last year's was short. It was like an hour tight.
Yeah, I probably did the same thing last year with the MacBook, and it wasn't, it was losing its charge and all that stuff. So I think an hour to hour 15 is solid. Anything more than that just seems unnecessary.
Anything after that, you got to start, bringing out the piano and doing some musical accompaniment.
That's true. And when you're working with 3 different computers, that's just a lot of moving around.
You need to get some more chords in there.
You know what? One of these days when the MacBook does legitimately die, because it's on year 9 or 10 or something right now, I think we will invest in some podcasting infrastructure and take the show to a whole new level. But until then, I'm really riding the low budget wave.
Yeah, well, I think it fits your general aesthetic, and I mean that in no kind of backhanded way.
Yeah, I think it'd be good to have. I've been watching a lot of the podcast Office Hours Live, which is Tim Heidecker and Vic Berger and those types of comedians, and they've got all sorts of sound effects just at the snap of a finger, and guest hosts and appearances by Mark Proch and stuff. So I gotta you gotta bring it up to that level.
Well, I noticed you've been adding in some sound effects to your podcast lately.
Here and there, if I finish recording, the Mac's still got more than 10%. I can find 1 or 2. So it's a pretty good idea.
All right. Well, I don't want to hold up your phone line.
Yeah, the lines are jammed.
I like this whole idea of phone lines are open, but we all know it's really just one.
Hey, if you want to call back at any point, I'll send you the voicemail, and you can hear the voicemail I recorded.
Okay, great. Well, I'll try to catch that sometime. That sounds pretty good.
I'll leave it for my birthday.
Some future episodes with some guest appearances. I know it's COVID, but man, it feels like it's been a long time since you've had guests on the show.
Well, I was really excited when Blagojevich started his own podcast, but he never got back to us. So I think I need to send a follow-up email.
Yeah, I'll have to see if we can do anything about that.
Or I'll just go knock on his front door. Michael Moore style.
Well, yeah, you got to make sure you bring the cavalry for that one, though. You got to have a guy behind you with a giant camcorder and someone with a boom mic.
That's not a bad idea.
I think that should be your next mic you get. It's just a big boom mic with like one of those huge fuzzy covers on it.
Yeah, see, there's a lot of things we can do with this show. It's just a matter of time and resources and laughter, really, at the end of the day. So
Yeah, and every so often you can, when you do a live stream or video, you can like walk into the set and accidentally hit your head on it and be some good physical comedy.
Yeah, going back to Stanley Spadowski, I think that would be good.
Yeah. All right, Quinn. Well, good luck getting the rest of the way there. I think you're just $5 short, but I'm sure you'll make it if you keep, believing in yourself.
$5 for our 5th year. Thanks so much for calling.
Of course. Take care.
All right. Have a good night.
You. Bye.
This thing is good for slamming down. I feel like I'm in Glengarry Glen Gross right now. GLENGARRYGLENROSS. Additional G not included. We had some YouTube chat action while we were on the phone call, and thanks so much for those chats. Russian vodka specifically. That was a conversation from like 80 years ago, I feel like. Tito's is made deep in the heart of Texas. Ooh, Tito's vodka, right? I was in a basement the other day. Don't worry, I'm safe. And there was a whole jug of Tito's, and it crossed my mind momentarily to take a little, not a swig. That's not appropriate. It's a public health crisis right now, pandemic to be specific. But just maybe like putting it a little bit in my not my flask, but like my aluminum container of water. We've just reached our fundraising goal, everyone, and we got a call coming in. This is very exciting. This is what the holidays are all about. Oh, this was a caller from earlier who went to the voicemail. And hopefully they enjoyed that great voicemail message. Let's see what they have to say. And apologies to our ad reads because you keep getting bumped. Here we go. Welcome to the Beantown Podcast, 5th annual Pledge Drive Telethon fundraiser. This is Quinn. How can I help you?
Hey, it's your sister. How's it going?
It's okay. How are you?
Good. Actually, your voicemail, it didn't go to the voicemail.
Oh, what happened?
I don't know. It just the call ended. So it didn't go to the voicemail, so I didn't get to hear the voicemail.
Maybe because you didn't call the toll-free number.
Damn. Forgot to hit +1. Just kidding.
Yeah.
But you're sounding good out there. Look good. Sound good.
Thanks. We got 43% left, and I have to pee, so I'm not sure how much longer we can hold on, but doing my best here.
Yeah, my computer's at 16%, and I'm not at home, and I forgot my charger, so.
Oh, we got another call coming in. I'm going to let them go to voicemail because that's how much I appreciate your call.
Thanks, I appreciate it. We got to do another Q&A soon.
The phone lines are jammed. You're just going to have to keep trying. Keep calling. You'll get in eventually. If it's midnight, you'll just keep trying. 815-298-7200 is a toll-free number. If you're in Pakistan, don't forget the country code. It's a 1. Q&A would be good. Every time I try, you're not available. So I'm just.
I know. You got to give me a little bit more notice, and then I'll make that.
This is a very spontaneous podcast.
I realize that. So next time, just let me know when you're going to do the podcast, and I'll free my schedule.
It's usually every week.
Well, I know, but I realize that. But nice. Well, your fundraiser hit your limit. Congratulations.
Thank you. I should have set it for $5,000, and we probably still would have hit it. That's how crazy these beanheads are.
That's how much we love you.
They're rabid for Beantown.
I got Mom and Dad's dog here, or I'm with Mom and Dad's dog, and he's listening to the telethon, and he's a big fan.
Well, I think that would be a great segue into a classic Beantown podcast segment that we like to do here and there in the air. Introduce or bringing back to the program now our new our old segment. It's called Interview with a Dog. So, any this is for the dog specifically. Any thoughts?
He's sleeping.
Okay. Well.
He's taking a nap now. But he was awake earlier watching it. He really liked it. But I just fed him, so now he's taking a nap.
All right. Yeah. Well, I get sleepy after eating too. So
yeah, so, but he's being supportive.
Well, yeah, I'm a big dog lover, kind of a Canaanite, if you will, which is a biblical term, and also refers to dogs. So, yeah, it's that Canaanite would be good for extreme Wordle, perhaps.
That is true. That is true.
Well, thanks so much for supporting the show and pledging. Maybe there'll be a tote bag in your future. Probably not, but maybe something else.
I do like the tote bag idea for like in 20 years, you know?
Yeah, circle your calendars, everyone, for 2042, which is Jackie Robinson's number minus the 20, and tote bags could be in your future. So start saving your pennies. With inflation, thanks Biden, at that point it's probably going to be like a $1,000 minimum donation.
Yeah, probably. That's fair. Yeah. But, well, congratulations and good luck on the rest of your telethon, and we'll talk soon.
All right. Thanks so much. Appreciate your call. Thanks for supporting.
Of course. Bye.
Bye. All right. We are absolutely going to get to these ads now. We had one YouTube comment. Next year, you need fishing graphics on the screen. Flashing graphics on the screen. That'd be good too. That's going to be part of the infrastructure update, which could be next year. It could be in 2042 with the tote bags. I don't make promises. Here's the thing on the Beantown podcast. Under promise, over deliver. And you might be thinking, Quinn, well, you got it backwards. The more comedic thing to say would be over promise, under deliver. And here's the thing. Not everything's a joke. If I can get serious, I don't know if you can tell by my tone. Sometimes we need to be serious, Russia. In fact, any donations from anyone who lives in Russia, I'm sending it back. I don't want your rubles. What the hell is a ruble? Pick a currency that's easier to say, like a Chad, or a duck, or Ernest Hemingway. Okay, ruble. How do you that? I'm getting a trachea strains trying to say it. Ruble. It's like you got to dig way back in your mouth, like you're climbing a mammoth cave in Kentucky. It's ridiculous. Okay, let's hear from our ad sponsors. And those are the ones who keep the show running past a normal time length every week. Our good friends, Home Pride Oregon. Here we go. We haven't done full ad reads in a while. This is going to be a real treat. Are you tired of selling your house for less than a quarter of what it's worth, all because you could not find a reliable home inspector in time? Well, Oregon listeners, I got good news for you. Home Pride Inspection Services in Bend, Oregon is Central Oregon's new home inspection provider. The inspection services including things like heating and cooling, roofing, plumbing, and so much more. Home Pride Oregon is both contractor certified and home inspection certified, so you know you're getting the good stuff. If you're tired of big real estate wrangle on the home inspection market and you want a safe, certified home inspector you can trust, you got to call Steve. That's my dad at 541-410-0316, or you can visit homeprideoregon.com. Again, this show is 815-298-7200. Don't forget the one if you're from Pakistan, but Home Pride Oregon is 541-410-0316, and a one if you're from Pakistan. I don't think Steve's going out there for home inspection. Or visit homeprideoregon.com. Home Pride Oregon inspection. Perfection. I lost my hat. In case you're not watching the live stream, what are you doing with your life? But yeah, my beanie came off. So let's replace it with this fun Easter-themed purple hat. This hat is great. I can wear it for pledge drives. I can wear it for Easter Sundays, April 15th, right? Is April 15th actually Easter Sunday this year? Because if that's true, then we have a very spooky revelation. No, it's not. It's April 17th. So then I was going to say then Good Friday is Friday the 13th. The Lord has never been spookier. But no, this hat is great. I really wish that Redmond's Bar here in Chicago, which is literally like down the street from me, half a mile, was still open because that was a Vikings bar. And I went there a couple times. I watched a playoff game there with brother of the podcast, Walt Furnace, and we won. Okay, it was awesome. This hat would be great there. I also have a purple suit. Pants don't fit anymore. Should maybe gain weight so they do. I want to give a shout out to the Samson Q2U series. Oh, it's got crisp, clean, clear audio quality. It made an appearance. If you joined the live stream, if you're watching live right now, more than 2 minutes into the show, we sang. This is a callback to like a year ago when I said, "Hey, we're going to do My Kind of Town karaoke with Beantown lyrics," and then we never came back to it until today. We did it. I wrote new lyrics. I almost fucked none of it up. It's like the first F-bomb I've dropped in the Beantown podcast in what feels like years. And I feel okay about it. Okay, sometimes it's not malicious. Sometimes it's just the best word. It's easier than messed up, effed up. You can go back and listen to it. I wore this hat during it, which added +5 to my tonality, my timbre, timbre, timbre. That'd be a bitch of a extreme wordle. We've talked about extreme wordles and a lot of different variations, 10 letters, Latin, characters and symbols. What about just the extreme wordle is a bitch, okay? Words like timbre or Q would be, can you imagine if the wordle word was Q? I know it's 6 letters, but extreme wordle, there's no rules. If wordle was Q, Queue, we would be just absolutely messed up. Other extreme wordle is a bitch. Clues could be, I don't know, something in like Old English, because it's still English, but it's not really English. You can just flip open your copy of Beowulf, Beowulf. Beowulf, that'd be a good one. I mean, you're gonna notice that there's an E and an O in there. You're gonna find an L before too long if you're good at Wordle. But are you gonna really like the E-O combination right at the front of a word? That's tough. Okay, so put Beowulf in there too. But the Samsung Q2U series, if you couldn't tell, I have to pee so bad. And what I'm not going to do, because that's inappropriate, is pee into the space below the live stream, because you'd still hear the trickle. We've got Quinn. Hi, it's Kelly. It's my sister-in-law. If you have any recommendations for how to ease the bladder at this point, we'd really appreciate it. This is a heads up to everyone. The show's gonna have to end soon because we're doing the thigh shuffle here. If you're watching on the live stream, and we're down to 29%. We've almost finished our wine. You know what's crazy? You empty out 3/4 of a bottle of wine, because I had a little bit last night, into the space. It looks like nothing, but it's got a wide base. It's a vase with a wide base, if you will. And shout out to my lovely partner Rachel. Actually, let me take the time to make this point, and we'll come back to our ad reads in a second here. We'll finish them, I promise. Who texted me live during the show. I tell you what, if you're watching on Facebook, the lighting has gotten ghoulish. And I mean that in the most straightforward sense of the word. Facebook's, we still look good. Or excuse me, YouTube, we still look good. Facebook, I look like I'm a just goddamn ghost. Call me Casper, because I'm ghouling. But shout out to my lovely partner, Rachel, of 2+ years now, who texted me while I was live on air, asking me in all caps if I was drinking out of a vase. Yes. The same vase I used to hold our anniversary flowers that I got. Our anniversary was Tuesday, 2/22/2022, on a Tuesday, a 2-year anniversary. That's like the most karmic kismet thing of all time. We got a catheter. Yeah, that'd be great for the urination problem. But happy anniversary to my love. We got to spend some time together. Real quality time, stuck in traffic, driving from Chicago in April. If that's not love, I don't know what is. But we shared 2 boxed lunches. One was turkey and cheddar, and the other was ham and Swiss. Oh, we got another call coming in. But yeah, I wanted to say happy anniversary to my love, and I'll see you in a little bit. And we're going to take this call, and then we're going to finish our ad reads. Oh, it's our good friend. You guys are going to like this, Texas style. Welcome to the Beantown Podcast 5th Annual Telethon Pledge Drive Fundraiser. This is Quinn speaking. How can I help you? Oh, hang on. I forgot to put you on speaker. Give me 1 second. That's embarrassing. How's it going?
It's going good.
Thanks for calling in. I really appreciate
it. We got
it.
the $200.
Yeah, was it you who put us over the edge?
Yeah, I hadn't checked the GoFundMe until your brother was like, "Oh, I put it $5 away." I was like, "Oh, I'll jump in."
Wow, and so you put in $10,000 to really put us over the edge.
Yeah, the problem is that it might overdraw one of my credit cards, but
It's worth it. It's worth it for charity. It's worth it for the show.
Yeah, I've gone into debt for worse reasons. Why not do it for the good of others?
Exactly. I hope there's a little bit of jokingness to your voice, but regardless, I really appreciate it. And yeah, you're a longtime listener and longtime caller, and it's good to hear from you again.
Yeah, man. Totally joking. Not quite in debt. I still got 20 left.
Oh, that's good. That's enough to buy some barbecue for supper or something.
Speaking of buying things with $20, I was listening. I didn't have a chance to call yet, and you mentioned Redmond's in Chicago. That place closed?
It did close. Yeah, it was a Vikings bar. I'd go there occasionally on Sundays to watch the game, and yeah, it closed right at the start of COVID.
So in I think it was like my senior year, 2017. My best friend was doing an internship in Chicago, like from Texas. But he was up there, and we went out way too often. And they used to have 50-cent wings on Thursdays.
That's a hell of a deal. That's clutch.
Yeah, so $20 gets you pretty long ways at good old Redmond's.
That's a lot of wings.
Yeah, they looked at us weird.
Hey, I mean, some of the neighborhood bars have those great like daily specials, and you take advantage of those, you're having a great time.
Yeah, it's been kind of weird seeing people post that like different places closed now that I've been in Texas for about 3 years now. It's like, oh man, I used to love that place.
Yeah, there's a very popular place down the street from me on Diversey Parkway called Durkin's that a lot of college kids would go to, and that has since closed. And yeah, it's been tough. I know. I can't imagine trying to own and run a bar and navigate through all the COVID and stuff. So it's really sad, but I'm glad we're, for the most part, kind of getting to the other side now.
Yeah, and the Beantown Podcast out there leading the charge. I just wanted to call in and say I appreciate you, buddy. Appreciate the podcast, and I appreciate your friendship. Excited for year 5.
Thanks so much. We're going strong thanks to your donations, and a little bit stronger than the Spurs, but maybe they'll be back in a little bit. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see. Probably not. But Tim Duncan was on the 75th year NBA team, so I'll take that.
I saw that. I tried not to look at his hair. It still doesn't look right to me, but maybe someday.
It's funny because he's a very private person, so he doesn't do a whole lot of media. And San Antonio is a small media market, at least. So we've known his hair's like that for years, but everyone on Twitter was going wild, like, oh, that's what he looks like now? And I forget that if you don't live in San Antonio, you wouldn't know that.
It's true. I've seen it once or twice before, but I think I tried to block out the image because it just felt unnatural. But hey, it's Tim Duncan's one of my favorites, and hopefully the Spurs are back soon.
Yes, sir. I'll see you around, buddy.
All right. Thanks so much for calling. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Yep, bye. What a wholesome call. And thank you. That was our caller, in case you don't know, who put us over the edge on our pledge drive. Telethon fundraiser year 5 as we have surpassed the hour mark, which is exciting. And we're gonna run this into the ground more or less. I got 22% left on my MacBook. And once we get to about 10-ish is where I really need to stop it so that I don't risk losing the recording, which would be an absolutely travesty of justice. So we're probably going to have like 5 more minutes. Do you want a pizza Yes, always, but not. I'm good tonight. I mean, we went to Trader Joe's this afternoon and got our ingredients for making some sort of famous TikTok feta pasta, which I don't have a feta. I don't have a TikTok. I do have the feta. I didn't forget it, babe. If you're watching, it's okay. I have it. I even got fresh basil. It's the first time. Will you believe this on the Beantown podcast? The first time I have ever bought basil. But that was a YouTube comment about the pizza, and I always want pizza, and let's get a pizza real soon. No need to just buy me one. I'd rather share one together. If you're curious, the last time I checked flights to your hometown, which is not San Antonio but near, was like $400-ish. So I don't think we're going, unfortunately. But hope to see you soon. Let's all meet up in like Sioux Falls or something. There's one town at Watertown or something like that in South Dakota. I think in the eastern part of the state where I was finding flights for like $84. You go to like skyscanner.com and it will give you a list of results. You put in your dates and it's like Chicago to anywhere. And it's always, the last couple of times I've looked, it's been like this one town in South Dakota, like Watertown, South Dakota, like $82. Everything else like $289. I don't know if anyone else out there, as we're going to come back to our ad reads in a second here, and that'll sort of close the show. If anyone else out there has been shopping for flights in any capacity lately, so you'll have to kind of let me know, beantownpodcast@yahoo.com, if I am just completely looking on the wrong sites, if I need to clear my cookies, what I'm doing wrong. I mean, I've been buying flights for a long time at this point, for work, for personal, for other work. The flight prices right now are insane. Like, do I just need to get used to the fact that there's no more flights that start with a 1? Like, all flights are going to be high 200s, low 300s. Like, that's just how it is now, because that is painful. Because some of us have not been getting raises that are anywhere close to keeping up with inflation or any of this other stuff. And I know I'm in a good, fortunate financial position just generally compared to a lot of people in this country. So I can't even imagine what some other folks are going through. I really think that from like a social, economical perspective, things are going to get really just like hairy in the next couple of years because they're going in a very alarming direction right now. Not to get too crazy with you here on the Beantown podcast. But when God speaks, he uses a Samson. From Genesis, Exodus, all the books. That finishes that ad read from 20 minutes ago. Okay, last but not least, Bob and Weave. Oh, we all know the hairstyle. We all love it. Check this out. If you're watching on the live stream, boom. Check out the flow. John Voight, 77. We all know the hairstyle. We all love it. But how many Chicago-based independent barbers can actually give it to you the way you deserve? Enter Cuts by Q. It's like Enter Sandman, only different. Cuts by Q has been independently owned and operated since 1995 and is probably one of the better barbershop operations serving Chicago, Cook County, Northwest Indiana, which is where Papa's Mini Donuts and Cheeseburgers is located. God, I haven't. Papa's went off the grid for a while. I guess more or less like calendar year 2021 up until like August. Papa's was posting every day like we're open, we're at this location, and I don't know if it's just winter hiatus. Because granted, this winter feels like it's been a really long time, and it's snowing again today, which is crazy. But I have not heard from Papa's in forever. I haven't seen a post. They didn't respond to my message. I hope Papa's okay. I hope the emphysema didn't get him. Because Papa smokes like a sailor. But yeah, I haven't thought about Papa's in months. I gotta go check in on them on Facebook right after this. God, I hope they're okay. Knock on wood. And the greater Chicagoland area, from beehives to bangs, faux hawks to flat tops, and everything in between. I gotta pee so bad. Call Cuts by Q at 815-298-7200 or email cutsbyq@yahoo.com. And that's Cuts, Q-U-T-Z, by Q@yahoo.com. Okay, everyone, for the pledge drive, for the telethon, for the fundraiser, sing it with us if you're watching live. Oh, when you need a fresh do, something snappy and new, just call the experts at Cuts by Q. Cuts by Q. I should finish off this vodka. It's mostly ice now, or mostly water. The ice cube split into two. That's kind of cool. What's that? Freeze thaw geothermal process. Breaks the rocks apart. It's embarrassing for the rock. We're almost done. We're not going to be able to finish the alcohol live on air, which is okay because I got to pace myself. I got to work tomorrow. Wake up at like 6:45. The one other thing that I had written down that I just wanted to mention is that I did my taxes already this year, and we will still have our taxes special in April when tax deadline comes around with Matthew Fiedler, our good friend. But my taxes were accepted, and I got a refund back this year. So for context, last year I had to, I probably paid like $2,000, something like that, which was just a pain in the ass. This year, and I got my federal refund this morning or yesterday. It was like $470, and state's another like $300. So clutch. I got the Bush thumb, or Clinton. Who did the thumb? I don't know. Could be either one of them. 1992 to 2008 is a real blur for me, especially the first 3 years. I want to thank everyone candidly and genuinely and authentically who tuned in to the show, whether you're on Facebook commenting, YouTube watching, commenting, whether you called in. I really appreciate your support. We've been doing this this is our 5th year now, which is hard to believe. It's like Beantown Podcasts, it's a Quinn thing. Like, it's silly, it's fun, but this is like our 5th year. That's crazy. This is the longest thing I've ever done, except for piano and like probably like 27 other things. But it's been a long thing for me. And I really appreciate it. Every time I get to do this, it's a lot of fun. I get to hear from the listeners, people who I honestly more or less hear from, at least their voice, like once a year. Which means a lot to me. That's really special to me, just from a human connection perspective. Finally, a shout out to my alarm clock, which says it's 7:22 right now, even though it's 6:22 daylight savings time, or starts in 2+ weeks here, which is crazy. Then it will be right for another 6 months. Is daylight savings time split into 6 months? I don't think so. I think daylight savings time is longer when it's on than when it's off. But I don't know. We got one last comment. Next year, there can be a big confetti balloon release from the ceiling when you hit the fundraising goal. That's a good idea. There's a lot of things that go into planning. And the one other thing I'll say is, like, I hope that I came across as like high energy and having a good time, because I have had energy and I'm having a good time, but it's also been a really rough 2-ish weeks. And so there definitely was not much planning. A lot of this came together. I was literally showering an hour before this, and I was like, oh, I should come back to the My Kind of Town karaoke. And I wrote lyrics 5 minutes before the show started. So it's been on the fly. It's been fun. That's what we're all about here at Beantown. But shout out to the Ramoses for getting me this Beantown podcast live on air. Shout out to GarageBand, Mac, Apple for sticking with it. And I have to pee so bad. So everyone, if you're listening to the auto stream, I'm going to get music going. Once I get plugged in here, live streams, we're going to end. That's where we're going to call it. You can still donate. I promise. We're not going to close that. You can still donate. You can call in. I'll say hi. You won't be live on air, but thanks everyone. Facebook, I'm ending you now because I have to pee so bad. And YouTube, it's good to see everyone. I'm ending you now. Bye. This was abrupt. I apologize. And yeah.